L is the line y equals 3 over 4x minus 9. Part 1, write down the slope of L. Part 2, write down the coordinates of the y-intercept of L. Part 3, graph the line of L. Part 4, find the x-intercept of L. Part 1, write down the slope of L. Well, the slope of a line is always the number that is stuck onto the x. So the equation of a straight line is y equals mx plus c, where the m represents the slope and the plus c represents the y-intercept. And the y-intercept is the point at which the line crosses the y-axis. So the equation of a straight line is y equals mx plus c, and we have y equals 3/4 x minus 9. Then 3/4, which is stuck onto the x, represents the slope. So m is equal to 3/4. So write down the slope of L. M is equal to 3/4. The slope is 3/4. Part 2, write down the coordinates of the y-intercept of L. Well, the number at the end, the constant at the end, represents the y-intercept. Our constant at the end is minus 9, which means that it crosses the y-axis at minus 9. And if it crosses the y-axis, it automatically has an x value of 0. So the y-intercept, or the point at which the line crosses the y-axis, is going to be 0, minus 9. So for example, if this had been minus 8, then the y-intercept would be 0, minus 8. If this had been plus 5, then the y-intercept would be 0, 5, and so on. So the y-intercept will always have an x value of 0. Part 3, graph the line. Well, there's a few ways that you can graph the line. One way is to substitute x values into our formula or into our equation and get y values out, and then you'll have some coordinates that you can plot on your graph and join together with a straight line. Another way to do this is to use our rise over run formula. So we choose 0, minus 9 as a point on L. This is going to be our starting point. We know that this is one of our coordinates on our graph. So we go to 0 on the x-axis and minus 9 on the y-axis, so that's that point there. We know that the slope is 3 over 4, so m is equal to 3 over 4. And the slope of a line is rise over run. So this is a formula that we have to learn off by heart. So the rise stands for the number of steps up, and the run stands for the number of steps across. So we're going to start at 0, minus 9, which is here. We're going to rise 3, so we're going to do 3 steps up, and we're going to run 4. We're going to do 4 steps across. So starting at 0, minus 9, we're going to go up by 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go across by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we plot our point. And this happens to be the point 4, minus 6. So starting at 0, minus 9, we rise 3 and run 4. This gives us a second point on L, 4, minus 6. So then all we have to do is get a ruler, join them together, and extend the line as far as we can. Alternatively, we could find a second point on L using substitution and then graph it. Part 4, find the x-intercept of L. And the x-intercept is the point at which the graph crosses the x-axis. So the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis, and the x-intercept is where the line crosses the x-axis. So the y-coordinate of any point on the x-axis is going to be 0. So we're going to let y equal 0 in the equation of L and solve the equation to find x. So instead of y equals 3/4 x minus 9, we now have 0 equals 3/4 x minus 9. So first of all, we're going to multiply both sides by 4 so that we get rid of the fraction. So we're going to have 0 multiplied by 4 is just going to be 0. 3/4 multiplied by 4 is going to be 3. And minus 9 multiplied by 4 is going to be minus 36. Then what we're going to do is bring the minus 36 over the other side. It becomes plus 36. So we have 3x equals positive 36. And then we divide across by 3. So 36 divided by 3 is going to be 12. So x is equal to 12. So 12, 0 is the x-intercept. Alternatively, we could have brought the minus 9 over the other side and it would have become plus 9. And then we could have divided both sides by 3/4. So it would have been 9 divided by 3/4 would still end up giving us 12. So 12, 0 is the x-intercept.